Meet Heidi. Heidi is a 4-month-old German Shepherd female that was here with us over the holiday time period while her owners were on a trip, so short-term board and train. Heidi's owners have taken her through our Puppy Foundation series group class, and they just told us they'll be joining us for our basic series starting up here in a couple of weeks. Heidi is super fun. She is a snuggler. She and I spent the first few evenings of her stay with us just snuggling on the couch, getting her used to the sounds and activity of our house with all of our kids running around. And she took everything in stride as long as she could snuggle down. We worked on a number of different skills in the house, like place and just doing long downstays, things like that. Understanding the boundaries of our house are different than at her home, as far as where she was allowed to go and where her place was. And outside, we worked on these very intense behaviors using the touchpad, sit, down, stand, stay, which we're working on fading away any need for the command stay, but every once in a while I slip up since I train multiple dogs and I issue a stay command. Heidi has quite a bit of toy drive, which was really fun. We actually broke out a bite toy and worked on some retrieve back chaining that we show in this session. And she's actually interested in that toy that's just laying on the ground there. So positioned it with intent so that it's in the space, and we'll see whether she prefers to show interest in that or the food that I have. I tend to do this early on in sessions like this to discover the dog's motivation for toys. Do they accept outing the toy to re-engage play? Do they need a food trade? What makes the dog tick at the level that they're at? And so here I'm going to explore this a little bit with Heidi. I've sped this video up about 1.5 times normal speed, just so that we can get through half an hour to 40 minutes of footage in 8 to 10 minutes. Working on a little bit of free recall here, which Heidi accepts very well. It's very important at Heidi's stage of development to intensify reward events. It is far too easy to get into this pattern of work, yes, reward, and very easily she'll be conditioned to a post-reinforcement pause. I notice that with most dogs that I bring in that have had some training, especially training in reward-based systems like ours, that it's just a normal habit. Non-professional dog trainers oftentimes get into this habit. And so you'll see during our session here, I'm rewarding very frequently, and then I'm getting right back to work. I don't give Heidi a chance to check out in between behaviors. And this approach tends to really intensify their work drive because the work becomes so much fun and so intensely rewarding. Here we're working on just some basic position changes. I tend to use a left and a right heel. Of course, I don't put them on the same verbal cue or anything similar. I tend to use foos for the left heel and just right for the right side. I find that doing some of this during the foundational work really helps the dog to accept that sometimes they may need to be on the right. If we later do protection work and need guarding behavior, accepting a right body position is very beneficial in some of that later guarding work. And so we make sure that we do some of it during the foundational stages. And we also teach the dog that there are multiple types of entrances into heel positions, both on the left and right, whether it's going around behind, rotating the hind end alone, and pivoting on the front feet. All of these become acceptable, and we allow the dog to make the choice on which one is the most efficient. And this results in a dog that accepts later behavior chains much easier and doesn't become locked into a certain entrance into heel. I've gotten dogs that are much older who've had very good foundational work in terms of conditioning them, But if they have not been taught multiple different entrances, they will take the one that they're conditioned to, even when it's the least efficient path they could possibly take. And that becomes frustrating for a handler who wants to really excel in their focused healing and guarding behavior, which are actually different behaviors. It makes it very difficult if the foundational work is all the same. Some people like it all the same. I like a dog that's more versatile and more efficient. Here I'm working on the finish of the recall, getting her to come in a little closer. Looking for that upward focus. Heidi uses a command face for her face focus, and so you'll hear that from time to time. I'm going to, for the rest of this, switch back to allowing the audio from the video. The first segment there had a lot of machinery noise from a neighbor running some heavy equipment, so we went ahead and muted it, but we'll finish up with the audio from the track here. Here I've about run out of rewards, so going to call it a session here in just one more rep. Hope you've enjoyed seeing a little bit of Heidi working, and hope you check us out further. Thank you. Semper Audax.